All right. Welcome back to an episode of J-Bop and Chip. You know, gang's back and happy, everything. We're going to pass it off to Justin. What are we starting off today with, Justin?
Well, first thing we're gonna start off with is over time your intros will get better. So for the next few episodes, folks, that's what you're gonna have to deal with. But to start it off, what were we starting? Oh yes, it's video games.
How casual gaming connects to cooking.
Okay, so hear me out. Maybe I sound crazy to everybody, but if you're a gamer, I say casual gamer because casual gamers are a little more calm when they game. You know, they have fun when they game. They're not the competitive rage quit and break five controllers. They're a casual gamer. So if you're a casual gamer or you grew up on games, hear me out. When you're playing a game, let's say you get to a certain level or a certain boss and you fail. You run out of lives or you die, you got to go back, change your loadout, and then you try again until you beat it.
Great.
It's similar to cooking because if you have a task or a dish or a skill that you're trying to learn, you fuck it up, you know instantly that you fucked it up. It's either burnt, it doesn't taste right, whatever. You throw it out and you start again.
Right.
Similar to gaming. So I say if you're a casual gamer, you can cook because if you fail, you can restart and do it again until you get it right, which is similar to gaming. And I feel that it's a habit that's built up over time for people who game. Failure and restart until you get it or until you conquer it is something that gamers do on a regular basis.
I feel like that's more of just like a discipline thing instead of more of something that's directly related to gaming. I feel like it's more of a you do this on a regular, oh yeah, I messed up the game, oh I lost the game, I gotta restart, figure out what happened and move on from there. Whereas you can do that with cooking too, technically. I feel like gamers only have that specific mindset for games. Most gamers, even if they're casual gamers, still don't eat the healthiest. It's most likely they want quicker food.
See, this is why I say the casual gamer. Because the casual gamer isn't necessarily doing it for competition. And the casual gamer probably has, I'm not even going to say a 9 to 5 because most people don't have a 9 to 5 nowadays. Or if you have a 9 to 5, you just have one. So if you're a casual gamer, you don't eat the bad foods necessarily because you're not just glued to the screen. It's like, yeah, I got an off day. I'm going to slide out about 4 hours to get into this game right here. And you may have some Doritos, but you're definitely going to eat some adult shit. But I'm saying that the habit of losing, changing how you approach the problem until you conquer it is similar to cooking. So if I'm saying if you can sit there in front of a screen and play a game and lose and try again, or even if you can complete an entire game, rarely people have perfect first runs. But if you can sit there and complete an entire game, you'll be all right with cooking. Now if you can cook at home, like from gaming, you go to, okay, let me try this home cook thing. And you like it, then dip your toe into like working in the industry. I'm not saying if you can game, go in the kitchen. No, I'm saying if you can game and you don't mind losing and then trying something a different way or approaching the problem a different way, you can probably cook.
I mean, yeah, that is reasonable. Because typically I feel like that would bring more of a creative outlook into the kitchen on how to fix their problems. They might be a little bit faster at like their problem and solutions shit since, they have to figure it out in their games. But also one of the biggest points is when you're gaming, most people, even if they're casually gaming, it's with a remote looking at a TV like, shit, fucked up. Let me just, fuck, I gotta go back to base now. Fuck. You know? But you're sitting down having a little moment. If you restart, you restart. You don't have to move a muscle besides your thumbs and maybe your 2 index fingers. Whereas when you're cooking, you're up actually having to use more mental and put more creativity and put more effort and strength into cooking.
True. I understand where you're coming from. It is more physical. But what you just explained also comes to culinary. Because, okay, let's do something very simple. Let's imagine you make a pina colada, right? And one of those strips of pineapple still had the skin on it. We're talking about the rough outer skin, not the little eyeballs that you sometimes forget.
Okay.
We're talking about the rough outer skin. Like you weren't paying attention, you just threw one in the smoothie. Right?
Right.
The smoothie's fucked. It's going to taste like pit. I don't care how many filters and china caps you put it through. It's going to taste like pit. So what do you have to do? You have to go back to base, get another pineapple, coconut water, or pina colada mix, and start over.
Right.
So that's why I say there are so many similarities. But yes, the biggest hurdle is physical. If you rather sit down and have that challenge, similar to playing, any game or any video game, you rather be seated, cool. But in the same breath, we are getting more and more in the VR world where you're standing, doing things and interacting. They have chef simulators. Why do a chef simulator when you can go in your freaking kitchen? That's all I'm saying. But maybe it's because I'm old as shit.
Simulator, you don't have to waste food products. I was gonna say, originally gonna say that you don't have to buy the groceries for it, but you gotta buy your fucking VR and you gotta buy the app that you're using. So all that shit costs up to way more than what your groceries would cost. So the biggest hurdle I would say is fucking up food. But in the same breath, if you have the attitude of I'm learning this to conquer it, which is very similar to gaming. You're learning this to conquer it. You're learning the boss's moves. You're learning which loadout is the best for this level. If you have that same attitude and you apply it to cooking, you can be self-sufficient. Actually, your grocery bills will be lower. Yeah.
I'm a strong promoter of cook it yourself, but I also go out. I'm not going to sit here in front like I don't go out because sometimes it's cheaper based off of my work schedule. I work 7 days a fucking week.
Right.
So sometimes, I go grab something to eat because I don't feel like cooking, but in the same breath, sometimes I'll cook 2-3 days so that I don't have to go and have takeout. But I feel anybody who can or is worried about, I have no idea how to do this, you kind of just have to jump in it. And I feel the biggest thing that people need to learn, which we can go into on another episode, is learning how to use a knife.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Being comfortable with it. And it's the difference between comfortable and fast. Never worry about getting fast. The speed will come. The speed will come as you get comfortable. But if you jump out the gate trying to be fast, you gonna, some of them fingers gonna get hurt. Some of them little piggies gonna get slaughtered.
Absolutely, and you only got 2 pinkies to lose. I learned that shit real fast. Like growing up, our rule was you couldn't cook until you could touch the back of the stove with your feet flat.
I respect that
because
there's stuff on the back that you have to touch.
Exactly. If you can't touch that, and if you can't go to turn off the eyes, then you're a safety hazard in the kitchen, which means you shouldn't be in there.
I respect that too.
So I started cooking when I was like 9 or 10. That's when
I was. You short?
Yeah, that's when I was taught to
You had a disadvantage. Just give me a step stool. I'm ready. Team player.
They didn't run for that team player step stool shit.
It's like, nah, you a liability, cuz. Can't be burning shit down.
After all that shit, now my knife cuts are the best. Like for Thanksgiving, I'm the prep person. You need the peppers done. You need the onions done. You need shrimp devein, whatever you need.
I hate that.
I get all that shit
I
done.
hate deveining shrimp.
I fucking hate peeling and deveined. When they started getting the shrimp with the heads on it, when my parents started getting the shrimps with the head on it,
They might have been cheaper that way. Well, it depends because they break you either way. Because if you buy them without the heads, they basically cost more per pound.
mm-hmm.
But when they have the heads, they may be cheaper, but the head is also weight. So unless you one of them old school people that's gonna split that bitch, you know, or you like shrimp heads, or you make soup with the shrimp heads or some shit like that.
They had us
It's really
take
none
the
of your best
fucking heads
interest.
off, peel it, and then devein it. We threw the heads away.
I
was
didn't
just
even
extra-
make like soup or stock with it. What? I figure that's the only advantage you have of buying them with the heads on is you take the heads off and use them to make, your sauce.
In a chef's household, it's just learning a skill, learning discipline.
I guess, but if I bought them, I would use the heads.
Oh no, absolutely. If I go out and buy shrimps with heads on them now, just know I'm gonna make some type of seafood broth for my next pot of ramen.
Yeah, that's what you pop
Like,
the
that
motherfuckers
just
off.
That sounds awesome. I had this bowl of soup at this Mexican